Hey guys, we're here in the podcast studio at the Yuma Main Library, and I'm here with my fellow Rotarian, my friend Juan. We have a lot of things to cover today, and he wants to inspire us with something important, which is about education. So, as you know, this is Inspiring Innovators, and we cover 7 categories of overall wellness from emotional, financial, physical, spiritual, environmental, social, and fun. So, Juan, tell me about your career path.
Well, thank you, Natasha. I'm glad to be here today. As in my career, it's a little bit extensive. From a young age, I feel like I've been doing a lot, but at the same time, it feels like I am where I need to be. It all started back when I was a little kid, and I always wanted to be something great. I wanted to be an engineer, right?
Okay.
Like every other Mexican that goes to school wants to be either an engineer or a doctor or a soccer player. One of those.
Soccer player.
Yeah, but I'm not fast. I'm a little slow in that regard.
Mhm.
Not up here, not up here. But I always wanted to be something. So I went to college. I decided early on when I entered high school that I wanted to go to college. I didn't even know how to do it.
Mhm.
I just knew I had to go and I had to go for it.
Sure.
We were going to start talking about the AVID program in a minute, which is what enabled me to do all these things.
Mhm.
But at first, I went to the U of A through the AVID program actually, and they
Oh
helped me
wow,
get a scholarship
that's amazing.
that covered all of it. That covered most of the cost.
Mhm.
Things here and there like food, like my phone, like my living expense.
Mhm.
Basically, living by myself was not covered, but
Mhm.
the schooling was covered.
That's
So
great.
yeah, it helped a lot. After that, well, not even I wasn't even done with college, and I got my dream job at a greenhouse.
Oh no shit,
Yeah,
that's so cool.
yeah, in the middle of nowhere. You
Wow.
can guess it was 2 hours away from Tucson, and
Uh-huh.
it was 30 minutes in the middle of nowhere. Biggest greenhouse that
Yeah.
was built in the United States actually, and it was kind
How
of.
old were you at the time?
I want to say I was 20.
Okay.
I was 20 and I was traveling 2 hours. I used to drive a truck and
Uh-huh.
I sold it
Uh-huh.
to buy a Nissan Sentra so I could drive to my dream job.
Where
And
what so you where were you living at the time?
I was living in Tucson.
Oh, you were living too.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was taking classes. I was taking classes full time. Later on,
Mhm.
I went to modify my schedule so I could be at work full days, right?
Yeah.
But in the beginning, it was only working maybe Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Okay.
Because it was such a long drive. It was 2 hours that way, and then it was 2 hours this
Oh
way.
man, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's
But
commitment though, guys. That's commitment.
it is
When
commitment.
you want to do something for yourself and you want to continue to learn, you do what you got to do to get to where you need to be. So that's an example right there.
Yeah, you have to see yourself after that. And if that's what you need to do, then that's what you need to do.
Yes.
And I look back at the time that I put into it. I put during doing that, the driving 2 hours was
Mhm.
maybe a year and a half, and
Yes.
it was a struggle, but at the end it paid off. And
Yes.
it opened up a lot of doors. It opened up one big door that led me to
Mhm.
go. I went started doing construction for greenhouses.
Mhm.
I associated myself with this individual that works for a financing company
Mhm.
in Los Angeles,
Mhm.
and their whole gig was that they would come and build a greenhouse for a company.
Yeah.
Let's say you had a product. Let's say you found a lettuce.
Mhm.
Um, let's say it doesn't exist, right? This lettuce doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But let's say you found a lettuce
Uh-huh.
that produces very high yields and is very tasteful in this environment.
Mhm.
This company would you would come to this company and this company would give you a greenhouse and rent it out for
Oh,
you.
that's so cool.
It is, and they
That's so
would they
cool.
would install the process to it. They would install the packaging, and then they would do
Mhm.
the logistics for you. They would hire engineers. They would
Mhm.
hire people to do construction, people to
Mhm.
start the programs.
Mhm.
Like that's how I got involved in that. So we did that. We did that in New York. We did that in Minnesota. We did that in
And you were in your early 20s at that time.
us. Yeah, my early 20s. Yeah,
Wow, that's pretty cool.
I got done when I was like 27. When I realized I wasn't so young anymore, and it was very hard to make friends.
Whatever, you're still young. Age is nothing but a number, my friend.
I know. Look at this. I look young. I look so young. I can't
Yeah.
help it. No, but I was 27 by the time I showed up to Texas, and I was on
Mhm.
maybe my third, fourth project, right?
Mhm.
And I just didn't have it in me anymore to
Yeah.
be out there alone. There's a lot of things in life that matter more than money,
Of course.
and you realize that very quickly once you
Mm-hmm.
start feeling lonely. You can't feel
Mm-hmm.
lonely for that long.
No,
Yeah.
no.
So
Especially when you're trying to build your career. I have a big heart for like even people that have to move for their work, like these farm workers that come from Mexico and Salinas into Yuma. I feel like man, they leave their families for like 4 or 5 months. They don't see their kids, their wives, and it's not an easy job.
it's a struggle to leave your family behind.
It's so hard, and like so I give a lot of respect to the people that do that, because even military people, like our community in Yuma, we have a lot of military that come here, and I hear the stories of them having to leave their kids. Their wife is pregnant but they're at war. You hear these stories of these people that are struggling to make their money, and people that just want to do things different for their family, so they're like, I'm going to take that opportunity to move. In our case, like, we don't have children, so if we move, yeah, it's going to be sad, we're going to miss our family and friends, but what about those people, like, you start to feel lonely. Loneliness is a thing.
Your mom needs you, bro. Your mom needs you. Yeah,
Yes.
she needs you close.
Yes.
It's one of those things that got me into into this branch of agriculture with the controlled environment, because I do controlled environments, construction of greenhouses and establishing programs.
Mm-hmm.
It was because it was a way to start a job at a place
Correct.
that was structured, and it was
Mm-hmm.
year round,
Mm-hmm.
and it would keep families together, and it was
Yes.
also the techniques that were implemented in this greenhouse weren't so backbreaking as the
Mm-hmm.
ones in the field. So I saw it as helping future generations.
Exactly.
Natasha,
Yep.
I remember so this one very vividly. His name was Brett, and
Mm-hmm.
he I don't know if he'll ever hear this, but Brett, I'm not saying your last name either, but we showed up.
Yeah.
We showed up to the town of Oneida,
Mm-hmm.
which is like the capital of crime, right?
Mm-hmm.
132 people experience crime in Oneida in a daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
which is not there's not that many people in Oneida.
Mm-hmm.
But Brett, right? Brett shows we show up, and the greenhouse is basically matches just sticking out of the
Yeah.
ground. We're barely putting in the glass. Brett shows up, and he shows up walking,
Mm-hmm.
and I could see in his attire that he was struggling. And then you talk to the guy, and it sounds like he's struggling a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then as time progresses, I could tell that he got a bike. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He got a bike, and it was a brand new bike, a bicycle, in other words,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I saw him drive a car later, and I'm like, but it wasn't immediate, It was as
Yeah.
time progressed, and I'm like, man, this dude's doing good.
Yeah.
We're building this greenhouse, and
Yep.
this guy's got a solid job, and man, that fills my heart.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
made me that fueled me
Mm-hmm.
all the way to Texas until I realized I needed love too.
So when did you come home? Like, I know you were focused on your career in your early 20s, and you met some really amazing people along the way.
I
So
did.
when was that moment where you're like, I need my family, like it's time for me to be with my family? When was that moment for you?
I think I was 27. I know exactly how old I was. I was 27. I showed up to Texas, and I'm excited to be in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a really friendly person.
You are. Mm-hmm.
Um, I
And he
am.
always gives back, guys. He always gives back.
Thank
Shout
you.
out to our Rotarians watching this.
Yeah, and I show up in Texas, and then I have already a playbook of how to do things, how to when you show up to a new place, how to do things, how to get friends, blah 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 blah, blah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I showed up. This time was different. I was a little older, and I was looking for different things in life. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
looking for that excitement no more. I wasn't really looking for money,
Yep.
because I had already experienced the money that this
Yeah.
job provided me, and let me tell you, that money that you get when you're alone, it doesn't cover anything. You don't even know where that money goes. All you need is love. That's how I measure life now. But I was 27. I show up, and I can't make friends as easily anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I can make, and I don't want to anymore.
Mhm.
Honestly, I want to have close relationships with people.
Yep.
And then I realized that life is going by. My
Mhm.
mother is getting older. My
Mhm.
niece is gonna go through puberty soon. I don't know
Yeah.
when, right? But like,
Yeah.
she would be soon, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna miss that. And
You're gonna miss
she needs a role model. She has her dad, which is
Yeah.
an amazing role model, right? But she needs another one. She needs somebody like me. She needs her uncle,
Mm-hmm.
and she needs to see the difference in men, and she needs to see what kind of men
Mm-hmm.
she needs in her life.
Yeah. And I think it's also our cultures too. You're Mexican, I'm Indian. You know, family is everything for us. And, they supported us when we wanted to go to college and do things for our lives. And we were very fortunate because the things that we see as Rotarians in our community, and we always give back, the Crossroads mission and all the different things we do for the community. And I see that how lucky we are, that we have food at our table, we have jobs, we have a car, we have a roof on our head. And sometimes, like, as we're figuring out our own self, we remember, like, where we started and where we're going is not the end all be all. There's going to be growth that's going to happen, and you have to be able to look at that growth and be like, who were the people that were instrumental in that journey? Like, who gave that love to us? Love can be not only just for a friend, but it could be for your family, it could be for yourself. So I think, like, you made a good point. Like, like, you realized later in this life, like, how important those relationships
Yeah.
were
What matters.
and what matters.
Yeah, and I also wanted to leave San Luis and I want to leave Yuma, and I left Yuma, and then I left, and then I realized that I was comparing everything to Yuma because
really?
Yuma was pretty cool, like.
Well, it's your hometown. It's your hometown.
Yeah, the thing we got here, folks, it's not everywhere. It's not everywhere that you have a country adjacent to you, full of opportunities.
Yeah.
And you have this one over here, full of opportunities. That's opportunities times two.
Yeah.
You go up to New York, and you only have the opportunities you have in this country.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you have to take advantage of everything, right? But I'm saying that it's right there.
Yep.
And it's right here. And the culture. Sorry, go ahead.
Yep. And a lot of people, like, do that. A lot of people because we live, like, not even 20 minutes to the Mexican border, and there are people that still work here, but they live there, and they still come across, and every morning they sit in that traffic. And so when I think about the people that are trying to build their career and things they want to do in their life, and you realize everybody comes from some sort of struggle, and if they haven't, well, that's amazing. That's just been a blessing to them. But I think we're in a very good place in our lives where you and I and the people that we surround ourselves are continuously learning. And I think AVID being part of your journey, I think that's amazing that it got you to where you need to be. And I'm sure there's more to come from you.
Thank you. Yeah, AVID is a very it's a great program that enabled me to pursue all of my goals in my career, in my life too. I'm very thankful for Ms. Brown. Thank you. She straightened me up, and Miss Madrigal, you're up there. I remember that one talk you had with me.
Probably many
that
talks.
one, I've always felt like I could get away with things, and Miss Madrigal, you show me I couldn't. Anyways.
That's awesome, though. That's awesome. Those are the mentors that you remember in your life, because even for me, the reason I got into Rotary is because my family, ever since we were little, they were like, give back to your community, be part of the church, help those in need, because it's just who I am as a person, and just like who you are as a person, like, you want people to experience the fact that the more education you have and the more people you reach out to and asking for help, because sometimes we are afraid to ask for help.
Yep, I'm guilty of that, and I think I can do it all, and sometimes I hit the wall. Somebody helps me up.
Yep.
That's the moral of the story. The AVID program set me up in such a way where it took a young man who had a lot of willingness to do something and showed him a path to do it. I am a product of immigration. I like many people here in this area, I come from agriculture. My mother works agriculture. My dad works agriculture. I'm first generation American here. My mom speaks English, but it took her a long time. And my dad didn't speak any English too, so I was that kid that, hey, ¿qué dijo?
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
And then you have to translate government forms for your dad, and you're like, hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you learned English before your family did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was in third grade, and my dad didn't know any English, but he knew how to defend himself. Just the thing here and there.
Yeah.
And my mom wasn't able to cross over the United States until later on in life. And my mom didn't have she had second grade education. So when I came over to the United States, it was literally, my sister left when I was 11, I think. She went to go to college. She went to college. She went to U of A. She was out there pursuing her career as well. And not to say that she let me alone, but it's you see where what I
Yes,
mean? You kind of
yes,
are alone trying to learn all these things.
of course. Yeah, and you were the
Yeah.
little brother, you know?
And I was the little
Yeah,
brother,
little
yeah.
brother.
Yeah, but I got lost in this thought. Yeah, I started learning English when I was 11, and it was a lot of translation. But I didn't have, where I'm going with this is there wasn't really the structure to my life. I didn't. My parents knew that I needed to do something with my life. They
Mm-hmm.
needed to know. They know they needed assistance just as much as I needed it.
Correct.
So when I went into that AVID program, it showed me like a step-by-step way
Mm-hmm.
of achieving not only goals but getting to college. It's a college
Mm-hmm.
readiness program.
Yes.
From it teaches you skills from organization. It
Mm-hmm.
teaches you skills from note taking. It
Mm-hmm.
teaches you how to talk to people. It teaches you how to hear people because
Mm-hmm.
that's very important,
Yes.
just as much as talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
It teaches you how to debate, which is very very important.
Mm-hmm. And that's through your high school that you got into
Through
that
high school.
program.
Yeah, AVID program is also available through middle schools as well. But I feel in my case specifically that it helped me a lot through high school
Mm-hmm.
because in middle school I was barely setting up the learning blocks.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in high school, that's when I needed organization the most.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, guys, there's so many programs available to you at any age. You know, we live in a country where we have the freedom to study at whatever age. We have a Rotarian in our club that she told us that she became a nurse practitioner at the age of 65. I was like, wow. Like, she was a nurse for many, many, many years in Africa and then came to America, and she became a nurse practitioner at 65. And I'm looking at myself thinking, I'm 39, I still haven't got that master, so maybe that's my goal next. But so it's never too late. The point of that is it's never too late. And
It's never too late to ask for help.
that too. So who is this, like, what is, who, I can't even talk right now, guys. I'm in my thoughts. Okay, who is this program suited for?
Well, it's available for everybody, but I would say that if you are somebody with a background like mine, let's say your parents want the best for you, or you want the best for your children, and you don't even know where to start, that is one way to do it.
Okay.
AVID will take your kid and they will teach him how to study, how to apply for colleges,
Mm-hmm.
what they're looking for. They will encourage you to join clubs. They will encourage you to do community service. They will encourage you to do sports. All of those things that get you ready to hit life by yourself and hit college specifically.
Mm-hmm.
They will teach it to you. Let's say um, let's say you just need a little orientation. Maybe joining AVID because it is a 4-year program. Last time I checked, maybe you just needed 1 year.
Yep.
Who knows? But if you really want to go to college, it's one of those things that colleges see that you're an AVID, and they say, "This one,
That's the guy that we're
that's
picking.
the guy,"
Yep.
because he knows how to navigate college.
Yeah, and it makes a difference because, you know, when we were applying for college, it was a different. It wasn't. It's not as it is now, because when it was back then, there was different programs available then than there are programs now. But there is available. You just got to search for it. Sometimes, you know, there are students that, you know, they wanted to intern to understand if that's the career they want to go in, and so that's the best part of where I went to school in Pennsylvania for high school, then also partly in California. We moved my senior year, and I remembered the stark differences of, like, you know, what they focused on. Like, for our school, we focused more on, like, leadership and, like, community involvement and getting involved in clubs. And I even started a club, like, when I was in high school and in university, because it's like they give you the opportunity to do it if you look for it.
Correct. Yes.
So yeah, definitely. So what are the key skills taught through the AVID program?
Oh, well, I mentioned some of them already. One of them is the note taking.
Oh yes, you did.
Yeah. It teaches you the Cornell method of note taking, which is it's very helpful, honestly. If you're somebody who thinks that they listen and they can remember everything that they listen, right? This method is good for you because it doesn't really require you to write that much, but it's very well organized and it'll help you retain
Yes.
information.
Oh, I used it in college and it was awesome.
I think it's the only way that should be available, honestly. But I didn't know that. I didn't know it, no, until I joined the AVID Club. And they kind of enforce it on you, but it's for a good reason.
Sure.
Right? When you go to college and you meet other people that don't go on AVID, you'll see them struggle to take notes. You'll see them, you'll be like, oh, good thing I learned this one already.
Yep.
Yeah. Other things that they teach you is how to talk to people. One of my favorite parts about being in the AVID club was the debate. We
Oh,
would
debates are cool.
we would debate people. I think every once in a while on a Wednesday, we would choose a topic and then we would randomly go on a side and defend it, whether it was you were truly defending it or just for the sake of the
Yeah.
activity.
Yeah.
But it teaches you to listen to somebody and it teaches you how to respond to them back. So, in a long story short, you hear the person, you acknowledge their argument,
Okay.
and then you rebuttal in a professional manner. You don't attack the person, you
Correct.
attack the argument. And you make it clear that you're attacking the argument and not the person. That disarms a lot of people. That opens you a lot of doors, and that makes you be proactive all over work.
And it's skills that you're going to use in real life. People, this happens a lot, not only in friendships with miscommunication, but debating is healthy. It's healthy. People think it's not, but it is healthy in a way because you get to hear people, understand their point of view, and then come to a conclusion and find solutions. Because sometimes, we're in a situation where we want to feel right. We know we're not right, or in a situation where things can be resolved just by communicating effectively. And I think you going through that program and understanding how to debate makes sense because, you know, say you have a miscommunication with your business partner or your friend. Now you know how to work through it because you know the skills of how to listen, how to talk effectively, and how to respond.
When to know you're being acknowledged as well.
Oh, that too.
That is very important.
That too.
When to know that somebody has given you the good side. They've given it to you. Like, hey, you made a good point. Because not a lot of people say that.
That's true.
Some people just
that's facts.
demonstrate it.
That's facts.
And some people don't pick it up.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good point. Good learning tip right there. So I know that you told me that is your favorite quote. What I aim for, I achieve. Why did you pick that quote?
Well, it's a Spanish.
You can say it in
verse.
Spanish.
Yeah, I'll say it in Spanish, but that's what it means in English. What I aim for, I achieve, right? But this is one that my mom taught me when I was little, and it stuck, right? It's donde pongo el ojo, y pongo la bala. And what that means is what I aim for, I achieve. And I'm able to do that because of the skills I was taught through AVID. Honestly, I don't have it in my brain that I'm like, oh, AVID implementation, boom. It's just something I do instantaneously, without thinking. Yeah. But it's my favorite quote because if I really want to do something, I actually go and do it. Yeah. And I'm not trying to sound cocky about it, right? But every time I set myself a goal, I do it. Yep. And
that's good. That's a great way to be because actions speak louder than words. Sometimes we have these ideas in our head. We're like, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. But then it's still an idea until it actually gets implemented. And I'm guilty of it too. Like, because I am a thinker. I love to do different things. I love to meet different people. And so there's all these great things I have. Okay, I'm like, 5 years from now, I'm going to do this. And 2 years from now, I'm going to do that. But it's also having achievable goals.
It is. Yes, it is. It's having achievable goals, and it's being able to cope with the time that it takes you, right? Because some goals you can get in next week, or by 3 p.m.
Yes.
Yeah. But some goals take years.
Yep.
And you have to be willing to put up with the time. And not every day is going to be exciting. But then one day you're just going to look back and it's going to hit you and be like, oh, damn, I'm already here. Yes. Sometimes it's just like that.
Because life goes by so fast. I mean, look, we're already almost till middle of April.
I'm almost 30.
Yeah. Hey, you're gonna reach a new decade. I'm gonna be 40 next year. So, brother, you still young.
You look younger than that.
I'm 39. I turned 39 last month.
I'm bamboozled.
Yeah.
Bamboozled.
Yeah. So, but yeah, goals, you can always achieve them. Like he said, what I aim for, I achieve. It's the I am statements, I am beautiful, I am strong. You start to believe it, you start to believe it.
You got to believe it. A lot of times it's just starting. It's scary, man. It's scary, but it'll still be scary tomorrow if you don't start it. And sometimes you just gotta take that little push, man. Just put your name on the paper, literally put your name on the paper, and then read question number 1. And if you can, go to number 2. I mean, it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor, but that's that's what I mean. Just start.
Yes, start.
Before you know it, you'll be sitting where you want to be sitting.
Exactly. And it's true because even with this podcast, I had it in my mind like 5 years ago. I was like, I know so many people. People ask me, how do you know so and so? How do you know so and so? And it's like we go to chamber meetings, we go to Rotary meetings, but the one-on-one thing, it allows you to really get to know the person. It allows you to maybe learn something about yourself or the other person that you might be like, oh wow, I never knew he does this or that, because you see each other in big rooms, but you're not really getting to know one another.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the podcast was more so for inspiring our future, engineers, our future educators, or whatever career you want, but more so to show people that it's never too late to start something new, and it's never too late to love yourself and be the best version of yourself. So, given that, our last question is, what inspires you daily? I know it's tough to think about one thing, or you think of many things. Whatever inspires you.
Many things inspire me daily. I don't cry, but inside of me I go and man, that's beautiful, and it makes me want to cry a little bit. But I think life inspires me. The fact that we're alive and that I am able to do things, and I live here. There are really no words to describe how I feel about living in this place. I think we live in the best place that we could have ever been. We could have been blessed. We couldn't have been blessed more to be born in Yuma, to be from this area. But life inspires me daily. The ability to do something a little better every day gives me a lot of faith that mañana I'm gonna be able to get it.
Yep,
you know,
exactly.
Maybe not today, but mañana. Mañana's mine.
Yes. Yeah. That the world is your oyster. That's what they say. The world is your oyster. It's up to you how you want to live your life, but it's also up to you to make those decisions and be with the right people. That's important too, because sometimes your environment can affect things that you go through, but it's up to you to pick yourself up and say, you know what, tomorrow's a new day, today's the day. Or you're one decision away from making a big decision of your life that's going to change your life for the better. So whether it's educating yourself through AVID, whether it's like, hey, I want to talk to Juan, I want to know how he became an engineer, I want to know about his schooling at U of A, you just hit him up. Just hit him up, and I have him.
Or girl, whatever you want to be.
Here's his handle. Like if you want to know more about how to get ahead of the game with education, get into the AVID program, you can follow him on Instagram and Facebook. This is his personal email, guys. So do reach out if you need anything regarding your student success and your solutions to help you have a better and livelier life.
If you like plants too and you want to shoot me a plant photo, I'll take it too. I'm a garden enthusiast. I did pest control for a while, and I also
a man of very many hats.
Yeah, I'll help you with that. That should be my favorite phrase.
You got a green thumb, brother. Like, I've tried to have a garden like how many times, but it takes a skill. And it really does. And obviously you worked in greenhouses, so you got the skills.
Oh, yeah.
So guys, if you want to see the replay, you can follow my Instagram page, Facebook page, YouTube page at One Self Consulting. You can visit my website to know more about what we do. And thank you, Juan, for being part of this. This has been
welcome, Natasha.
It has been an awesome time getting to know you. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode coming soon. Bye, guys. Thank you. Guys.